up, everyone? This is Derek from Boss Dragons, and this episode we're going to talk about recessive versus recessive. This is nothing about bashing another gene. This was more of preference of what you prefer to work with. Maybe this will help you. We're going to do this with mutation creation. Billy and Austin is going to tell you what they prefer and why and what direction they're moving, and maybe this will help you as well. This is really exciting, so you do not want to miss out from beginning all the way to the end. So if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm going to try to do more videos like this and maybe other reptile videos. If you like anything about reptiles and like to nerd out, stay tuned in. Do not go away. Trust me, I give education, and let's hear what Billy and Austin has to say, and thank you for watching. Billy, can you explain the difference, you and Austin as well, about the enhancer and the desert ghost gene? What are the difference in comparison of colors?
So right here, this is just the base enhancer. Yeah. And that there is a desert ghost. Okay. I don't need to show you guys the head stamp. Yeah. Okay, this has almost like a head stamp, where this, like Austin said before, it is blushed. And the blushing, look how it goes down to the neck.
Doesn't do that with the, oh, there you go. Doesn't do that as well with the.
I mean, it blushes down, but it's not like it. Like this here's it's.
Yeah, you can see the head stamp difference.
The coloration.
The coloration.
Okay? You know, I guess this is a little darker. I mean, the contrast here makes this. It's really hard to say, but if these animals are side by side on a table, do they look identical to you?
No.
Exactly. So
one's lighter than the other.
Yeah, and I mean, I got a lot more blushing in here, the creaminess, and I would say it's almost cleaner because you get a lot of grays, and the thing is speckling. Like, you see how the gray speckles? If you notice on DG, they got a lot of like, yes, they call it like dirty scales. Yeah. There is some here, but where's the dirty scales here? They're very, very, you know. Compared, like
so it's much cleaner.
It's much cleaner, yeah. You know, what you call dirty scales. Yeah. There's a lot less. One thing that I love to see is that head, like how vibrant it is. You know.
What about your opinion on this gene? On both comparisons of the two.
I think that the desert ghosts are nice, but the enhancer just takes it a step above. Like, it's just so much more yellow, so much brighter, a lot more color saturation. Cleaner snake, and you'll see with a couple of the other combos we show you guys.
And how well they age.
That's the best thing about it. Like, desert ghosts age amazing, just enhancers age way better. And you can see this is a desert ghost double head cryptic pied. It's not just a normal desert ghost. Has head influences, making it nicer too. And I think this one right here is just an enhancer head clown. So it's crazy.
Actually, it's an enhancer double head G-stripe clown.
G-stripe clown. So they're both double heads, and you can just see just how much brighter one of them is. And that head stamp is a really big difference to me. It's the main identifier when I'm looking at a desert ghost to see if it's a desert ghost or it's enhancer. And always you have that head stamp on the desert ghost. It's always like a triangle or a pyramid, a little diamond on there, and the enhancer is just always just fully blushed out and goes all the way to the neck.
It's so much brighter.
Sometimes you can get the eye bands coming and connecting at the top. It'll cut off the highlighting on the neck, but it will still highlight to the neck even though it has the eye band blocking it. And you just never get that with the DG.
So Billy, can you explain the difference between the enhancer gene and the desert ghost gene?
So I'm not sure where they are now on actual testing. I'm not really sure. I know that now DG is recessive. Okay. 100%. Yes. And enhancer is also coming back as a recessive gene. Now, I don't know if they're the exact same spot or the same location when they're doing the testing. I haven't really looked into it. But from the amount of animals that we have and what we've produced, we can visually see a difference. You know, and we're going to go over some of these things. So, Austin here is holding a desert ghost pied, and I'm holding the enhancer pied. So you can just see the difference just in the coloration. It's much brighter.
Okay.
The one thing that we'll notice, and we'll show you a bunch of different other animals and different types of genetics. It's more blushed out. Is that a good word?
Yeah, it's more like saturated with yellows.
You know, even the head stamps. So what we found with DG is it has like a head stamp, like a typical head stamp.
But it's really dark around it.
Okay, and then with Enhancer,
the whole head is blushed.
there really isn't really an a head stamp. It's sort of like a blushed out area, and it seems to actually go and blend down the side of the neck. So the blushing goes from here and then sort of continues back into the beginning of the neck. Where here, it's
a lot darker,
and it's sort of sectioned off. And we'll show that in a bunch of different animals. You know, even normal enhancers to DG, where the blushing of the head fades, you know, runs down back of the neck and then back of the neck. And unfortunately, I don't have any regular DG pieds as adults. They're all in Europe, thanks to Dean. But we do have an enhancer pied adult female. We'll show you her. Yeah. And
all right, awesome.
You'll see how much the enhancer changes.
Well, I can do that now. If you want to hold this.
Enhancer goes through really big changes, especially through each shed. They get brighter and brighter and more light. You already see the light tones coming in. And it really helps with the orange as well. You see almost like really pastel oranges inside of there. And it really makes the colors pop, especially if you want those really bright colors. Enhancer is the way to go, because look at the enhancer pie.
So here's an adult
enhancer pie. Just see
enhancer
how much
pie.
it changes.
Look at the change. And as Austin was saying, the yellow saturation. It's almost hypo-ish.
Yeah.
And here's a good example of that head. Okay, so you see how the head, it has a blushed out head, no real head stamp, and then notice how the blushing from the head goes back down and it blends into the neck, even on both sides.
It's not only with the pies; it's
almost every enhancer compared to Desert Ghost. But as an adult, and I don't know if the camera is picking the colors up on this.
Oh, definitely.
But I mean, you know,
it's so
everyone comes
vibrant
over
right
and is
now.
like, is that hypo or what's going on there? Like, it's just amazing at the coloration. And yes, we are losing black. You know, that's what everyone is saying with DG. Well, the blacks are a lot more intense. Correct. But I like this color palette. I like the brightness. And so many people are going after the DG pied and the hypo, which to me I think is going to make it look more like this animal here. It'll soften those tones, take away the blacks, and give it this hue. Myself, I like this color palette. That's why Ultramel is key for me. Hypo, I like that. You know, and most people, like I said, they're like, well, I like the DG because of the blacks, and that's great. But then if you're going to be putting hypo and other stuff in it to make it look more like this, having a DG to get the blacks when you're taking the blacks and saturating the color, it doesn't make sense to me. Right?
Imagine the hypo on top.
If you added hypo to this, I'm afraid it'd be like, you know,
it'll be too washed out.
Yeah, and I'll show you one more with pastel. Okay, so with this combo here, we're doing the opposite. I'm holding a DG, Austin's holding the enhancer. Now, this one here is a pastel Enchi Desert Ghost. Okay, so pastel Enchi DG.
Just had a nice shed.
Just had a nice shed. Okay, head stamp. And Austin is holding the same but enhancer. Pastel Enchi enhancer.
But deep in shed.
Deep in shed. Look at the eyes going into shed. Look at the difference in coloration. The head stamp, there is none. Look how it bleeds back into the neck. The blushing goes down into the neck on both sides, even here. Like you can see how it bleeds from the head stamp into the neck. Where here, it doesn't. But just looking at the coloration of the two.
Even though it's in shed.
It's in shed. I mean, the shed isn't going to bring that. Like, look at the oranges and the colorations.
Yeah, it's more neon.
This is brown, and yes, the dark has faded quite a bit. But it's...
You're gaining so much.
It's a total different palette. The color on this animal, and unfortunately it's in shed, but it glows even more. I mean, the color here is even more vivid. But these are the exact same genetics, except one is Desert Ghost, and these aren't het for anything. This is just a pastel Enchi DG, that's a pastel Enchi enhancer.
Yes, it's a big difference.
Big difference.
Even look at the blushing on the head. Even though this isn't shed, you can just see how much more blushed it is and how much brighter it is, especially in that head stamp area. This pastel Enchi DG is pretty blushed out in the head because the pastel and Enchi already do that.
Of course.
But with the enhancer, you can just see how much it's turned
look at
up.
the dirty scales like I mentioned before. See how there's dirty scales?
And look how clean these are.
Okay, dirty scales. No dirty scales. There's
Yeah, you could tell a difference. It's a
big
really
difference.
big difference.
You know, beautiful animal still. Like
Exactly.
I have not complained making beautiful babies with this female over the years. Amazing. This it gets me. It's more breathtaking. Like, you know, especially as adults. Now, when these first come out, there is a difference, but it's not as you know, bold as it is here.
Yeah.
You don't get every shed. Each shed, you'll really see how much enhancers start to pull away from the Desert Ghost.
Yeah, it's just by preference what you would like, what you want to create, what direction you want to go. The enhancer or Desert Ghost.
Yeah, we had KG from Bomb Projects here. When we showed him this one, he thought it was a pastel Enchi.
OD, Super OD. He throws his things. Oh, this is a Super OD something, right, guys?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the Hypo version 2, right, guys? We're like, no, it isn't. And I mean,
He's like, you're
you know,
kidding me. I'm like, no, this is just pastel.
and that's the thing. We are working with Hypo to get into this project.
Yes.
So once we have them, now we can compare this animal here to the same, but also Hypo. And then we'll see what that does. And I think it'll actually make this even more vivid and
crazier.
crazy.
Yeah.
Just imagine Orange Dream. You already see the oranges on here, and then adding Orange Dream or Super Orange Dream.
It's just going to raise up that color on the sides.
How much cleaner can you make this?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. People, oh, they're the same. They're not. I mean, even if they come out genetically the same, phenomenal. I can tell and see the difference right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, the age
Age well.
difference.
Yeah. So to me, it's you know, I'm still going to work with both, but I'm really trying to see and push the limits more with the enhancer because it's more in my color spectrum, right? I love the palette and how it does and what it's going to do.
Yeah, of course. It's just preference.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it pure too. We're trying to only breed enhancers to enhancers, not muddying it up with the Desert
And
Ghost.
DG to DG as well.
So
Awesome.
Enhancer, pastel, pinstripe. So an enhancer lemon blast, DG version.
and this is not just the DG Lemon Blast. This is a lemon pastel pinstripe Desert Ghost. So has the better pastel that's more yellow.
So big difference. Look at the head. Look at the brightness in the heads.
And
Definitely.
As you can see, it also brought that really nice head color into the neck again. Even with the pinstripe, it still didn't mess that up. And you can see here.
But the blushing is intense.
Yeah, it's just a lot more intense here.
Yeah, definitely.
And coloration, same thing.
Yeah, definitely.
You get a lot more yellows and a lot more oranges when you have the enhancer versus the Desert Ghost.
So enhancer left and the Desert Ghost right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Check that out.
And then side by side, like put them like this, just the colorations.
Yeah, there's a big difference.
Yeah,
Just the
even if I
coloration.
go behind, look, just so that you know, we're
Yeah.
not like, oh, you know, hey, look,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can cross them.
yeah, you cross them. They're
Yeah.
They're night and day.
There's no photo
There's no-
editing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
and you know, it is amazing. And I love the look at this as an adult. Like, look at this coloration as an adult. I mean, I'm very happy.
Yeah,
Pastel,
I would pick enhancer hands down. This is not me. This is just preference.
And that's the thing, right? We're just showing the difference, and we've seen this and the way they've aged, and we've got many different examples, and we see the same sort of patterns and sort of markers. And the one thing that really gets me is the way these look as an adult. And I mean, this girl here's bred 2 or 3 years for me, and it's just look at this. This is what we want. We want to have animals ending up as adults looking the best they can. And to me, I really love this. Like, look at this.
Yeah, even
It's crazy.
Antoine Hood from High Desert Pythons, he was skeptical at first until he got an enhancer from Billy.
Yeah.
And now he's, even when I went to go see him in the States, he was saying hands down, Enhancer's different. It's nicer, it's more bright.
You can clearly see it here too.
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
That's
I don't
awesome.
know genetically if they're the same or not. I mean, I'm not sure, but I can visually see the difference in different things like the head stamp and the coloration, especially the way they age.
Very consistent.
Yes. So this here is a pastel leopard enhancer pied, and you can also see, like, it's almost like I'm going to say a hypo effect. It looks like it's
Washing with the blacks.
washing it out. To me, it's almost translucent. It's like almost glazed. It's not hard black. Like, that's a little bit hard black, but then it softens. It's
Like
almost,
a gloss.
yeah, it's glossy, you know, and
Yeah.
every time this sheds, it ages even better. It's going to get lighter and brighter. The blacks will fade, and just look at the oranges, and
Saturation.
you know, it's the saturation. Like,
Yeah, it's wild.
I need to get Yellow Belly into this, and
Yeah.
OD,
How crazy
and then
the
Enchi. I mean,
crazy
there's
looking
just
snake.
So many things to do, and I would even like to see Hypo down the road into this. And we are doing Hypo and Clown also into the Enhancer G-Stripe. Enhancer Pied as well as G-Stripe. So down the road, I mean, these are stepping stones to other, double, triple, quad recessive projects. But I really like the Enhancer, the way it goes and what it does to the animal, and especially how they age very well. Another thing that one of the reasons why I prefer the Enhancer, they age way better in my opinion, and we'll show you. I mean, that's, it's my opinion.
Definitely.
I see what I see, and nothing wrong with either gene. I have both, but I prefer the
It's just
Enhancer
preference.
And then the Enhancer,
Correct.
it's pure form too, not mixed with the DG. It does make a DG a little bit brighter if you do mix Enhancer with DG. They are allelic, but just the pure Enhancer form is just takes the cake.
So,
Yeah, I see it. Like, really here is just very vibrant. Those colors are very wild.
A couple more sheds, this is going to be a really nice.
It's so crazy.
Right here we got a Cinnamon Leopard Enhancer Heifer Pied, and you can see even with the dark genes, you still hold a lot of those black colors, but you're not getting those really nice creamy tones you're getting with the Desert Ghost. You're getting more yellow, and in my opinion, it even has more contrast than the Desert Ghost version. Brings a lot of nice contrast with this nice yellow stripe, especially the stripes on the side too, and then those really dark browns and blacks in there. And you can see a bit of the Enhancer blushing through, giving an almost third line right here between the two blacks here. Just looks really cool. And then right here, Billy's holding
this is the dad.
father.
It's in shed, but this is his dad.
Wow.
So Cinnamon
Leopard, double het Enhancer Pied.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Just see how much Enhancer just brightened it and turned it up a notch. Even
So-
the black's really nice and vibrant.
Only difference between these two is Enhancer, not Enhancer. Cinnamon Leopard, Cinnamon Leopard Enhancer.
Awesome.
Both 100% het pied.
All right, Austin, we want to know, what is your take on the Ultramel or the Monarch?
So obviously you guys already know I'm Team Ultramel, but they're really not comparable at all. Like, they both have the yellow and orange tones that are similar. One has purples, one has more darker browns and grays, but they're definitely not the same, and a lot of people are comparing them. I think that we should just stop comparing them, because right here in my hand I'm holding an Enchi Ultramel. This one's het for clown, and you can just see this snake is yellow, orange, and purple. And if you guys were to do a quick Google search right now on the Monarch version, you'll see that it doesn't really have those purples at all, and it has a lot more gray tones. And sometimes when they're babies, they have a lot of contrast, but especially if you see how Monarchs age, they're being sold as something that they're not. And I just really feel like it's doing injustice not only to the Monarch, but even to the Ultramel, comparing the two. When Ultramels age amazingly, they hold a lot of their colors. They still have the purples inside there, and they still hold those oranges and yellows, and they don't drastically change the darks to lighter tones as they age. I think a lot of people who are getting into the Monarch right now have to really go and look at the adults before they go and make a decision, because that's where the real thing is. Babies, they can look good for the first 200-300 grams, but when you need something to be nice as an adult, like, I'm going to put this guy back real quick, and I'm just going to grab one more for you guys. This is a year old almost. It's an Enchi Ultramel Clown. And I just want to go and show you how well the colors of the Ultramel really hold even into adulthood. This girl is going into a shed, so not the best time to look at her, but you can still see the oranges, purples, and yellows that the snake, this Ultramel, holds. And
wow.
This is almost a year old, and she was a little slow eater at the beginning, but she just started picking up pretty well. And this is just Enchi Ultramel Clown. And
that's so beautiful.
Yeah, just the way the Ultramel really ages, with the purple still being there. You still have those really nice oranges. A lot of people like to go and say that there's a lot of contrast with the Monarch. A few combos there are, but a lot of the ones that I'm seeing on Morph Market right now, there was this Enchi Yellow Belly Mojave or something along those lines that just looked like a pale snake. There was no contrast at all. So a lot of you guys, if you're getting into the Monarch or the Ultramel, go and look at what those combos, or what you can see that's available right now, what those combos look like as they age, because not all ball pythons age the same. Look at the sunsets. So it's a lot of things that we're learning still, especially with the Monarch. It's still in its infancy. It might do some amazing stuff, but if you're gonna take it, in my opinion, take it to the dark genes. Ultramel, you could take light or dark, but the Monarch, you're more limited with the palette so far. Like, I've seen some of the pieds made. There was a fire yellow belly Monarch pied made. It looks amazing inside of Justin's new video. But if you go on his Instagram and look back, he has an adult version. Go and compare what you see the adult turns into, and it's very different. Of course, there's going to be some other examples of Monarchs that are going to age amazingly, but the ones we have so far, just not aging the way they look. They don't age close to the way they look as they're babies. And the Ultramels, they still have those really nice oranges, and the purples, they hold really well. So that's just the reason I took the Ultramel over the Monarch. Even when I was getting into the Ultramel, Monarch was an option for me. Of course, the price tag was a lot higher, but I invest in very high-end snakes as well. It wasn't a money thing for me. I think a lot of people are being swayed by the value of Monarch, but who knows, when those adult combos are coming out, it might change the tide. So depending on which way you take your Monarchs, you can really go and sway the whole market for it if you're in the Monarch project. And even the Ultramel project, you can see this is a beautiful snake as a juvenile, and into adulthood, I have an adult Ultramel Clown breeder. It almost looks identical as it was when it was a baby, and I'm sure this girl will age really well too, as she has been already. So that's my take on the Monarch versus Ultramel. I'm not trying to persuade you in any way to grab either or. They both have their own really good things that they can do. Just don't get swayed by others' opinions. Go and do your research for yourself and search the facts. Because even with the Sunset, when we first got it, we thought it was going to be amazing, nice reds, and then we got it at like 400 or 500 grams, and you can see how brown it was and how much more it browned out into adulthood, and it's just very different than what we were anticipating, and that made us actually get out of Sunset. So go and research every gene you're into, not only Ultramel, Monarch, the hypo stuff. Go look how everything ages, because you know what, they're only a baby for this little time, and the rest of their life they're looking something else, and that's very important for a keeper.
Awesome. So that was that. What recessive do you want to work with the Monarch, or the Ultramel, or Desigos, or Enhancer? Tell me on the comment section below. Tell me what you think and what you prefer. This has nothing to do with bashing anyone. Just tell me. I would just like to hear what you guys have to say. And thank you all for watching. If you made it this far, I appreciate you all. And the ones that sticking around watching my content, I appreciate it so much. And I just want to tell you guys that I'm going to do more other reptile things, not just snakes. So please don't tune out. Just hang in with me there. I like to do a variety of things, and I just love reptiles. If you just love reptiles in general, you know, stay tuned in, nerd out with me, and I appreciate you all, and thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.